Apprentice perfumers, people who like perfumery, people who have hobby and they enjoy making perfumes at home for their family, for their friends, people who are also seriously interested to make perfumes, and everybody else, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to make together one super famous woody accord from one worldwide famous perfume. So I'm not going to tell you immediately which perfume is that, but at the end of the video I'm going to review you from which perfume this accord belong, and this accord is a building structure of that super famous perfume. What are accords? In my courses and in my PDF file, I talk about accords and why they're important in building perfumery. Well, accords are important for two main reasons. First reason is that they act as a building structure of your perfume. Accord is 2 or 3 or 4 or more ingredients put together in a certain ratio that they form a different type of smell together. It means 1 plus 1, it's not equal 2, it's equal 3, for example, because when they mix together, they create a new unique smell. And why are they important? Everybody's speaking about accords. I'm sure you have heard about perfumery accords, building accords. Well, they're important because those ingredients put together, they hold the whole structure, the building structure of the entire fragrance. Because together they act synergetically and they have also fixative properties. It means they prolong and they fix your perfume to stay longer and to be better smelling, to be more transparent, and they fix everything together, the ingredients, they fix them together to be more compact, everything to smell super nice and professional. And the reason number two why we use accords in perfumery, it's very simple because of the price of the ingredients. For example, many of the natural ingredients like essential oils, for example, they are very costly. The rose essential oil, it costs 1 gram costs around 45 to 50 euros. So imagine if you make a big perfume that has 50 milliliters and you want to put even 1 gram of rose essential oil, how much you have to sell this perfume is going to be very expensive. That's why perfumers make accords with synthetic ingredients that mimic the rose smell. And also they put a tiny amount of the rose essential oil to give more naturalness of the perfume. That's why the accords are important. Okay, so this video is going to be like almost like get ready with me. I'm gonna demonstrate you. We're gonna make together this famous accord, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit of story of the ingredients. We're gonna need only 4 ingredients to build the accord, and I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna make it together a little bit of every single ingredient. So before we start, did I tell you that yes, this video is gonna be included also in my PDF instant downloadable file on my website, available for purchase and immediate download on my website julianangelov.com for people who want to learn perfume making professionally. So what is the best practice here to start mixing and experimenting your perfume mixtures? So here I have my balance scale, I have a beaker, and I already prepared my ingredients. So for you, if you have a big perfumer's organ, it means you have a lot of ingredients everywhere. Like me, I cleaned mine, just prepared the one that I'm gonna need today. But if you have many around, what is the best practice for you? Well, it is, so prepare the one that you already have an idea you're gonna use. And every time you use one, you took it, you put it back. Means you have already used it, so you don't get confused. Some people, they don't have laboratories. They use a small desk and they put everything in boxes. It's also fine. It's more, but sometimes it's much better if you have a big, space to organize your materials, just to organize them by alphabetical order. Of course, I know by experience, after you use the materials, you have to put them back, because it creates a humongous chaotic space after you don't know where is your ingredients. Anyway, so let's start with those four ingredients that we're gonna use today. The first one is patchouli. Another best practice is, before even you start mixing in your experimentation, because you are apprentice perfumer, of course, in the beginning, you have to experiment until you find the perfume that you want to create that you like. So I use this beaker and I already put here 6 drops of perfumer's alcohol. Why I put these drops? Because when I use ingredient in small amounts, they don't particularly mix immediately together. That's why with the help of the alcohol drops, they're gonna better mix together and they're gonna react together much quicker. That's why I put 6 drops of perfumer's alcohol already inside. So the first ingredient is patchouli essential oil. You have two types of patchouli. You have patchouli light and patchouli dark. Patchouli dark is much more intense, have a little bit of hay nuances in the background. It's more strong, it's more darker. I like them both. Um, no worries, I'm gonna put at the description of this video the accord itself in percentage, because it's important, depends how much of product you're gonna make to scale your product using by percentage. So patchouli. Patchouli is one very interesting ingredient and very much it's underestimated these days, because many people now, young people specifically, they find it to smell old-fashioned. Well, it may be true because patchouli was very famous and popular in the 60s. I'm gonna tell you why. I personally love it. I love patchouli. It's one of my favorite ingredients in perfumery. So back in the 60s, uh, you know, politically and society in the United States and ever in the world was going to this hippie era about, music, cultural, the hippie stuff, peace and love. And the marijuana was forbidden in the 60s almost everywhere to smoke. And people who smoke also now it's legal. When they smoke, they know that has a very strong odor, the marijuana. And patchouli, it's one of the ingredients that covers up, this smell of marijuana. That's why hippie, probably people back on the time, they find out that the patchouli smell, patchouli essential oil, covers up this kind of smell, So that's why it become very, very popular in the 60s, because when they are smoking, like weed, they put a bit of drop patchouli, they spray it so you don't, people cannot smell you from far. Besides that, patchouli also, because it's from the 60s, so very popular, people find it a little bit old-fashioned today. In my opinion, I'm going to tell you, patchouli, it's one magical ingredient, one of the magical ingredients that is excellent fixative to use. Besides, when you mix it with other ingredients, you don't necessarily smell it, that much inside of the accords with other ingredients. So if you're worried about this old-fashioned smell, it disappears when it's mixed with other ingredients. So for the purpose of our demonstration today, I'm gonna have it here, few drops of patchouli. I'm gonna tell you the real ratio. I'm gonna put the real ratio in the description of this video. However, the patchouli is the biggest amount of ingredient in our 4-ingredient accords. Okay, so that's enough. I put enough. I put around, I think, 12 drops. So every time I put an ingredient, I'm gonna write it down here. So first, patchouli essential oil, 100% because it's not diluted. And I'm gonna see how much put on the scale, 0.400. That's a lot. Anyway, this is for our experimentation. Patchouli, it's considered and it belongs to the olfactive family of oud. So it's considered to be an woody ingredient. Smells woody. So even though it's extracted from roots of a plant, it's considered to be an woody ingredient. It's also base note. It means it lasts more than 2 hours. So I really love patchouli. So I'm using right now patchouli dark, has more intense smell, more a little bit dusty, rooty smell, but in very, very nice way. So this is the patchouli already in the beaker. The second ingredient I'm gonna use is helio now. So helio now, it's a molecule, and it's a synthetic aroma molecule that was created in laboratory in 1958, I think, from IFF, International Fragrance and Flavors. It doesn't have equivalent that exists in the nature, which means it's entirely synthetic. This is another magical ingredient. Helio now, it smells watery, ozonic, melon-like with slightly floral and hay-like background. So sometimes when, as a perfumer or as a person who likes to make perfumes, you have to describe smells and you have to describe the odor profile on the ingredient. You have to know that many of the ingredients don't have only one word that describes them. They have many words. So this one, for example, is watery, ozonic, melon, fresh, you can say, slightly green, slightly flower, slightly hay in the background. And this helio now, it's very, very, very helpful because it's a natural fixative, which means naturally fix your fragrance compound. Now, I have many students, when I ask them what kind of perfumes you like, they tell me woody aquatic. So I guess this is kind of a trend nowadays, woody aquatic. It's nice combination, it's modern, it's hype, it's not boring, it's not only woody, it's not old-fashioned. I really like this combination. Many people who making perfumes, they ask me, what is the trend now? Well, the trend last year was everything that was gourmand and edible. And now these days, there is not a specific trend. I think this gourmand trend is going away. And this one, this specifically woody aquatic, I think is going to be the next one of the next very popular type of fragrance. So helio now, it's restricted by the IFRA organization. That's why we're not going to use that much. We're going to use just a little bit. I'm going to put you the percentage of how much we're going to use. So first of all, I'm going to put the Tara. I'm going to hit the T bottom. So it's going starting to measure from the 0. And I'm going to put few drops of helio now. 1, 44, 5. One more. Okay, enough. All right, so we have the helio now. So when you mix those two together, the magic happens, which means the both of them, they are synergetical, symbiotic ingredients, and mixed together they exchange powers in one super magical way that makes they create kind of clearness and transparency in your perfume. Besides that, they exchange their lasting powers. So it means when they are mixed together, the perfume itself is gonna last longer. This is what we call synergetical symbiotic accord. So every time you mixed, this is also best practice, you put a new ingredient in your beaker, it's nice also to smell the evaluation of the mixture to have an idea how it goes. So I use a little bit of paper strip, and of course I'm gonna note, don't forget that, how much I put of the Helio now. So Helio now, strength 100%, it's not diluted, 0.120. Okay, now I'm gonna smell. Oh my gosh, it's already, the magic is happening already. So this Helio now gives a slightly uh, fruity, very watery, and slightly flowery effect to the patchouli, and already the magic happens. Although the patchouli itself can be very, very woody, when mixed with Helio now, it's completely different story. Okay, this was our second ingredient. Now we're gonna go to the third one. So for the third one, we're gonna use Hedion. I'm sure you have heard about Hedion. This is another magical ingredient. Hedion is famous to create diffusiveness. So everywhere you put Hedion, your perfume is gonna be more diffusive. So Hedion by itself, the scent profile is very light, doesn't have a strong odor impact, smells something like super light jasmine, and in my opinion, it's something when jasmine meets lilac. It's absolutely gorgeous, very floral, very delicate. So we're gonna put how much I'm gonna tell you at the end on the description box. I'm gonna put a little bit more from the Hedion because it's not restricted. Let me put the T, start from 0. Okay, come on, Hedion, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put Hedion as much as you want. So I put 0.200. Okay, and I'm gonna write it immediately. This is how you have to do when you start experimenting. Hedion, 100% strength, 0.200. Okay, now, so it's better to use a newspaper strip, but if you don't have many, you can use the same. Now, I can make it like this a little bit. We don't want to spill it, to mix them together. And I'm gonna again smell the paper strip. Wow, I can smell it already from the beaker here. Oh my gosh. Okay, magic, it's like blowing away. I have a very nasty habit. Every time I mix something, I put on my skin like this with the paper strip. Don't do this at home because it's not recommendable. This is not diluted ingredients, but I take the risk. So already the magic is happening with the Helion here. We have the dilution coming out, so the diffusiveness coming out like crazy. Okay. So now we're gonna use the fourth ingredient. So the fourth ingredient is eugenol. So eugenol, if you don't have a eugenol, it's isolate. You can use also essential oil from clove, but careful. If you use essential oil from clove, make sure you pre-dilute it to 10% because clove essential oil is super, super powerful. Even one drop is gonna ruin your entire compound. It's that powerful. So pre-dilute the, like I did here, the clove essential oil to 10% strength. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin everything. So otherwise, you can buy eugenol. It's isolate. You can buy it directly, like eugenol isolate. It's very present also in the clove and in the cinnamon bark. So I'm gonna use only 3 drops here because even 10% is quite powerful. 3 or 4 drops. And then, as you can understand, so the percentage of the eugenol in the entire accord, it's less than the patchouli. So okay, here again, this is our 4th ingredient. You see, I had to write it again because I'm gonna forget. So I have it here on the scale. I'm gonna put clove essential oil at 10% because this is what I'm using. 0.080. Okay. Now, here, people, I make this at home. You're gonna see the magic happening again. Absolutely divine. It smells woody, modern, aquatic, ozonic, fruity, and slightly floral at the same time. Absolutely magical. And this is one of the most famous accords. Famous. I'm sure you don't know how this accord is called, but I'm sure you know the perfume. So let's see. I'm gonna tell you which perfume is that. Actually, I'm not gonna tell you. You have to guess it and write me a comment to see if you have guessed the accord. I'm gonna answer the comment for yes or no, or maybe after many comments, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm curious to see if people are gonna find out. I'm sure you're gonna find out. Okay, so this is the famous woody accord. You can use this accord to create modern woody type of fragrance with slightly watery ozonic, call it also marine type of smell. So this is kind of super you can use it everywhere. It's the basic accord that you can build an woody fragrance that is modern and high, but you can also put additional elements to your liking to make it, as you wish. You can put more flower elements after, you can put more woody elements after. This accord by itself, those 4 ingredients, they're gonna hold your entire perfume composition. This is the building structure. This base of these 4 accords, it's already holding, have diffusiveness, have long-lasting powers, have everything unique. So it's already a fixative inside. So whatever you put here, it's gonna hold your perfume nicely together. Okay, now I'm gonna add. It's not a part of the accord, but I'm gonna add something that's gonna help you even more to find out which famous perfume is built with this accord. And I'm gonna add a little bit of dihydromyrcenol. So dihydromyrcenol is one of my favorite ingredients. Again, it smells citrusy and flowery together. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's used mostly in 90% of all cologne type and men fragrances. So many other people ask me, I had this question before, how to make some perfume to have more masculine associations, because now for me, perfumes personally doesn't have gender. The smell doesn't have gender, but some people want to have perfumes that are more often associated to a masculine smell. So which ingredients give this kind of masculine smell? Oh, this one, for example, dihydromyrcenol, it's one of the ingredients associated with cologne or masculine type of smell. Many also women, they love this kind of cologne type of smell, and they love this famous perfume that this accord belongs to. They love to smell it on the men. This it's super popular. So I'm gonna add like a little bit. This is bonus. It's not part of the accord. This is my stuff. I'm gonna add just a little bit of this dihydromyrcenol. I'm gonna add 4 drops dihydromyrcenol. It's a top note, so doesn't have a very long lasting powers, but gives diffusiveness and freshness. I'm gonna add 4 drops. Come on. Okay. So another advice for me, when you adding drops, be careful that every time you add a drop, you're using the same angle here. Otherwise, sometimes you can add drops that are bigger than the rest. But anyway, if you have a scale, you're gonna see immediately. So the hydromercenol is my 5th bonus additional. Dihydromercenol. It's gorgeous ingredient. Okay, now I'm gonna use another paper strip and I'm gonna smell it to see the difference. I'm gonna shake it a little bit on the ground, help them to mix together better, and I'm gonna smell it. By the way, tonight I'm going to the opera and I'm gonna put this mixture with 5 ingredients already. Maybe I'm gonna add one more on me. I'm gonna dilute it with a bit of alcohol because this is concentrated. And I'm gonna put just few drops here, here, and here. And I'm sure people around me, they're gonna love it. This is gorgeous. So, this is absolutely gorgeous, out of this world, already with 5 ingredients. And as I told you, now as a perfumer, you have the freedom to add any type of other ingredients to your liking to decorate it, how this wants to smell. In the original perfume, we have to add a little bit of spicy notes. You know what is the difference between spice and herbs? Spices, or they are seeds, or they are dried. The herbs are fresh, herbs. So in the original, we have herbs, we have spices. Now, in the original, there is a little bit of basil essential oil. So if you are putting basil essential oil, make sure to dilute it to 1% because it's super powerful and everything's gonna smell like your pizza margherita. Yeah, like your pesto. So, okay. And also in the original perfume, besides the basil, we have also tiny amount of jasmine absolute inside, and we have also bergamot and coriander. So I'm challenging you here to guess which is that perfume I'm talking about and this accord belongs to. So let's see if you guys gonna figure it out. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely gorgeous, out of this world. So I forgot to tell you that smells like clove and smells like the flower. And clove, it's also made from a flower, carnation flower. This is how it smells. So it's very powerful. You have to put less of eugenol. Okay, so I hope guys you enjoyed this practical video with me. Get ready almost video. So this is how you may take an example when you start experimenting at home, how to do things. So at the end, when you're adding more ingredient to your perfume, of course, you're writing how much you put. At the end, you put a line and you sum, the weight of all the ingredients together. For example, you're gonna put 1 gram of everything. So this is, let's say, your formula that you like. So now, the most easy way, if you want to reproduce the formula in different grams, in different weights, it's to transform this formula into percentage, which means you have to calculate how much is every ingredient in percent inside of your formula. To do this, you can go on the internet and Google percentage calculator, and you can transform more easily in percentage your ingredients. So next time, if you have to make a batch of 10 grams, 20 grams, 100 grams, it's more easy to calculate how much of every ingredient you have to put together. So this is how, people who make perfumes usually work. Me as a perfumer, this is my daily, day-to-day, everyday practice. It's very easy and very pleasant. I really enjoying that. Of course, specifically when I'm happy with the results. But if you're not happy with the results, don't get discouraged, because in perfumery, this is how we learn. Error and trial. This is the best way to learn how to make perfumes, is by making mistakes. Take care and see you soon.